What if the only way to save your child is to throw away the key to their prison cell? This is the chilling reality we are staring down right now, and it completely flips the script on everything we thought we knew about family loyalty. Right now, the board is set with some incredibly volatile pieces. We have Willow sitting at the gatehouse, hovering dangerously close to Michael and the kids, Wiley and Amelia. On the surface, it looks like a fragile truce, a tentative step toward healing a fractured family. Meanwhile, Nina is deeply entangled with Jack, forging a bond that blurs the line between strategic alliance and genuine romantic connection. Nina has already proven she is willing to cross massive moral boundaries to protect her daughter, covering up heinous acts and turning a blind eye to the darkness festering inside Willow. But there is a breaking point for everyone, and we are rapidly approaching the moment where the pressure cooker explodes. The secrets are too heavy, the lies are too convoluted, and the collateral damage is becoming impossible to ignore. Let us talk about the gatehouse situation, because this is where it gets interesting. When you look at Willow residing there, you might see the potential for a heartwarming reunion. You might think she and Michael are finally going to put aside their differences, end the bitter custody disputes over Wiley and Amelia, and ride off into the sunset as a happy family. It is the classic soap opera trope, right? The estranged couple finding their way back to each other for the sake of the children. But guys, I am looking at this and seeing something far more sinister. The gatehouse is not a sanctuary. It is a staging ground. Willow is not there to play house. She is there because it gives her proximity to her target. Being so close to the children but still restricted by Michael's rules is not a recipe for reconciliation. It is the perfect catalyst for a catastrophic meltdown. Think about how Willow operates. We have seen her manipulate, scheme, and push people to the brink. She has been desperately trying to find a way to put Michael behind bars for a long time, searching for that one piece of undeniable evidence that would strip him of his power and give her total control over the children. The proximity to Michael at the gatehouse is reigniting that old, burning desire. Every single time she sees Wiley and Amelia but feels the sting of Michael's limitations, her resentment multiplies exponentially. She views his control not just as a legal boundary, but as a deeply personal insult to her maternal right. She feels suffocated by the overarching wealth and influence of his family, believing that the only way to truly be free is to completely dismantle Michael's life. She does not want a shared life with Michael anymore. She wants absolute, unquestioned victory. And to get that victory, she is willing to burn down the entire world around her. She is secretly calculating her next move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike and remove Michael from the equation permanently. To execute a plan this massive, Willow needs leverage. And this brings us to Jack. Jack has been a crucial, albeit dangerous ally for Willow. He is the man who made the video evidence of her past crimes disappear, the one who kept her out of a prison cell when she was dead to rights. But Willow is not the type to feel gratitude. She only sees opportunity. In a shocking twist of fate, she is now using that very salvation as a weapon against him. She is backing Jack into a corner, threatening to expose the fact that he aided and abetted a criminal, meaning herself, unless he helps her frame Michael and send him to prison. It is a kamikaze strategy of the highest order. Why on earth would Willow risk her own freedom just to take down Michael? This is the psychology of a woman who has completely lost her grip on reality. She has reached a point of such profound desperation and blinding hatred that she is willing to destroy herself as long as she takes her enemies down with her. She is essentially telling Jack that she will gladly sit in a prison cell if it means he is sitting in the one next to her, all because he will not play her twisted game. This is not the rational thinking of a loving mother. This is the erratic, dangerous behavior of someone who feels they have absolutely nothing left to lose. It is terrifying, and it shows just how far she has fallen from the innocent teacher we once knew. We do not have to look far for an example of this exact type of ruthlessness. Just look at how Willow handled the situation with Drew. When Drew became a threat, when he started regaining his mobility and posed a risk to her secrets, Willow did not hesitate to consider the most permanent, deadly solution. She wanted to silence him by any means necessary, completely disregarding the human cost. She operates with a chilling emotional detachment when her back is against the wall. Now, she is applying that same lethal logic to Jack. She assumes that because she can manipulate the situation, she can control the man. But Jack is not a helpless victim in a wheelchair. He is a seasoned, dangerous operative. So picture the scene. Willow issues her ultimatum. She demands Jack's help to destroy Michael, holding their mutual destruction over his head. But Jack, being the proud and formidable man he is, absolutely refuses. He is not going to be blackmailed by someone he considers an amateur, and he certainly is not going to risk his own empire to settle her domestic disputes. We can imagine his cold, calculating dismissal of her threats, laughing in the face of her escalating, frantic desperation. The stark contrast between his cool, collected demeanor and her completely unhinged reality pushes her over the edge. His refusal is the spark that ignites the powder keg. Willow, consumed by rage and the terrifying realization that her master plan is crumbling before her eyes, completely loses control. In a moment of pure, unadulterated madness, she attacks him. It is a reckless, desperate move, but the outcome is fatal. Willow crosses the ultimate line and actually kills Jack, leaving blood on her hands. Now, I have to stop and ask myself, am I stretching the limits of believability here? Could Willow, a relatively petite woman with no formal combat training, genuinely overpower and kill a hardened, dangerous man like Jack? It seems like a massive leap. Jack has survived assassins and international espionage. How does he fall to a frantic mother with a grudge? But then you have to factor in the element of surprise. Jack would never expect Willow to turn physically lethal. He probably views her as a nuisance, a desperate woman making empty threats. That arrogance is his fatal flaw. A crime of passion, a sudden strike with a heavy object in a moment of blinding fury, it levels the playing field entirely. So yes, while it sounds crazy on paper, the sheer unpredictability of a cornered animal makes it entirely plausible. This horrific act brings us to the most tragic figure in this entire twisted saga, Nina. Nina is going to be the one who discovers the aftermath of this bloodbath, and it is going to shatter her world completely. Nina already knows the depths of Willow's depravity. She knows exactly how Willow treated Drew, and she has carried the heavy burden of covering up those sins. Nina has compromised her own soul time and time again to protect her daughter, desperately clinging to the fantasy of the happy family she was denied for so many years. But Jack is the line in the sand. Nina has genuine, deep romantic feelings for Jack. They have been growing closer, sharing intimate moments, and building a real connection amidst the chaos. To find the man she is falling for murdered by her own daughter is a psychological trauma that I do not think Nina can recover from. It forces her to look at Willow not as a victim of circumstance, but as a cold-blooded monster. And with that realization comes a terrifying, paralyzing fear. If Willow is capable of murdering Jack simply because he refused to help her, what is stopping her from turning that murderous rage onto Nina? Nina has to realize that she is dealing with a ticking time bomb. The unconditional love of a mother is a powerful thing, but the instinct for self-preservation, combined with the sheer horror of looking into the eyes of a killer you gave birth to, is enough to break that bond forever. We have to remember that Nina is no stranger to dark impulses herself. We all know she was the one who pushed Drew into the lake in a moment of sheer panic and desperation. She understands what it means to make a terrible split-second decision when you feel cornered. But there is a massive difference between a panicked mistake and a calculated, blackmail-driven murder. Nina immediately regretted pushing Drew. She screamed for help and sent out an SOS. She has a conscience, however flawed it might be. Willow, on the other hand, is asking Nina to help her hide a body. She is demanding that Nina become an accessory to a brutal, premeditated crime. It is a level of sociopathy that Nina simply cannot stomach, and it is the catalyst for her ultimate decision. Willow, in her delusional state, expects Nina to clean up her mess. She expects the unconditional protection she has always received. And Nina, terrified and heartbroken, will likely play along at first. She will nod, she will agree to help hide Jack's body, and she will lull Willow into a false sense of security. But the moment she has a chance, Nina is making that phone call. She is not calling a fixer. She is calling the police. It is the most gut-wrenching decision a mother could ever make, but Nina knows it is the only way to stop the bloodshed. She cannot allow her daughter to commit another atrocity, and she cannot live in constant fear of becoming the next victim. Turning Willow in is an act of betrayal, yes, but in Nina's mind, it is also the only way to save whatever is left of her daughter's soul. So we are looking at a scenario where the entire canvas of Port Charles is irrevocably changed. Willow, the once pure heroine, dragged away in handcuffs because her own mother finally said, enough is enough. But as we watch the fallout of this massive betrayal, you have to wonder about the long-term ripple effects. Michael is going to be left picking up the shattered pieces of his family, tasked with raising Wiley and Amelia with the horrifying knowledge that their mother was a murderer who actively tried to frame him and destroy their lives. How do you explain that level of darkness to children? And what about Willow? A cornered animal is dangerous, but a cornered animal locked in a cage with nothing but time to plot revenge against the mother who betrayed her? That is a terrifying prospect. I do not think this story ends with the slam of a jail cell door. In fact, I think the real nightmare for Michael, and especially for Nina, might just be beginning.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.